Hi, my name's Lydine.
And I'm Heidi.
And we are
the U-Haulers.
All right.
All right.
We're talking about, do you remember?
Our differences.
Our differences.
Well, I mean...
Do we have any differences?
Yeah. This one is low maintenance. And, you know, just...
Low maintenance.
Yeah, we have differences.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are frustrating.
Never.
And sometimes they are magical.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, like, that's the part about being compatible, right? Is that you balance each other out, but that means that you're not always going to think the same or react the same to things.
Yeah.
This week in particular, I have ramped up in my practice, and so I work a lot. And so I have let some other things go. I don't have any fucks left to give at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which just means that, like, I used to do things like cook, and now I don't.
I taught you how to cook.
You did.
That's exciting. Yeah. I don't think the cooking one was one that was frustrating at all, though.
It is frustrating because we're on a program, and
well, right.
I'm trying to
I'm
lose
not saying it
weight
doesn't have
for a
frustrating
wedding,
things, but I don't think that was...
It's frustrating.
But it wasn't to me.
Oh. I thought it was frustrating to you.
No.
Oh. Well, I don't know what we're talking about.
I was frustrated about the hose.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, let me just tell you something. This one over here, we have a grill. We bought a grill during the pandemic. It was one of the things that we decided, you know what, we're going to cook a lot because we're going to be staying in because they've locked us in our homes, and we cooked a lot. We did. Yeah. And we grilled.
It's a fabulous grill.
It's fabulous. And it works great. And it's...
Except when Heidi's starting it on fire. Alexa, turn off the alarm.
We live by Alexa alarms. So, I realized, much to my dismay, after grilling out one day, I can't put this cover back on immediately because it's too hot. And so, because I didn't do it immediately, it was like 3 days later, Dean went outside.
It was not just 3 days later.
How many days later was it?
Like...
You go outside a lot.
Baby, it was like weeks. It was not days.
That could be true.
3 weeks, not 3 days.
Yeah.
And so there had been, you know...
Sprinklers.
And a storm. You know, like, not like a storm, but like, you know... I think it rained one of the days.
Like maybe 2 droplets of water.
No, I think it rained one of the days. Plus then there's just morning dew, and then there's wind, and it was, it was winter. So things, I know it's winter, like California winter, but things blew around.
So
and,
not really
and there was
winter.
dirt. Like, dusty dirt.
What?
No, you knew that one because we tried to clean it. That was the thing we tried to clean because of the kind of material it is. When you try to clean it, it just gets more into the...
You're talking about the
cover?
So, okay, and this is actually perfect because this whole time I've been like, she cares so much about the grill looking fresh and new and clean, and she doesn't even want to use it. She wants to throw the grill away because there's water spots on our stainless steel grill.
Well, and some fire spots from when it got...
You know what? Easy about the fire because...
Well, I'm not saying I wouldn't have started on fire. I'm just pointing out
I have started the grill on fire a couple of times. It's really not my fault.
It's not.
I'm just not. I mean, it's a learning curve, okay? And so
so the cover has to look nice too. The thing that covers the grill to make the grill look nice.
The cover
also
is like, okay, but listen, the cover is worth like, I don't know, $12. Maybe $15. It might be $15 on Amazon. Stop it. It's like $15 on Amazon. And this one wanted to throw the grill. She's like, I would rather not have a grill. This is what she tells me. She comes in and she's like, if we're not going to cover the grill, I don't want to keep it. And I was like, you don't want to keep what? She's like, I don't want to keep the grill. And I was like, we cook on the grill like twice a week. Apparently not for the 3 weeks that the dust and dirt and rain and morning dew got on it. Yeah. But, we cook on the grill all the time. And she's like, if we're not going to keep it nice, I want it out. Stop using the grill. I don't want the grill anymore. And I was like, oh.
I didn't say all that. I just said we might as well not keep the grill if we're not going to keep it clean and it's new and it doesn't look new. I didn't say all the... This is the other thing.
She thinks I'm so dramatic. In fact, harass. That's all you do.
Don't say that. My mom used to say that. That's not true.
All right, listen.
I say that to my son now, but my mom used to say it.
You
harass, Lydine. That's all you do.
Yeah, but you were pretty serious.
Yeah, well, the George Foreman too. I wanted to throw away my George Foreman.
Okay, but you have to understand.
We got a red George Foreman, and we toast in it. That's all. I don't use a toaster. We use a George Foreman. I mean, many times a day. and it gets lots of crumbs, and it gets like oil spots and burn spots. And
the inside, not the outside, the inside. The
so
part
if
that
you don't
close
clean it every time you use it, then it ends up looking, when you open it, like trash instead of like brand new. But if you clean it every time, and so I'm like, it's ruined now. We should get a new George Foreman.
We still have the George Foreman and the grill. You'll be happy to know.
Yeah.
Cooler heads have prevailed. Anyway, this week we're coming home from dropping off the kids. They had some project that they couldn't carry to school walking, and so we drove them. Right? Yeah. Some shoebox float about states or something. It doesn't matter. So we're coming home from this, and I haven't had.
This time we're coming from the gym. Actually,
might have no, because I had not had my coffee. I was still in pajamas, and I was.
But I didn't go with you to take these projects.
It doesn't matter. I had not
matter.
had my coffee, and I was still in pajamas, and she's out in the front yard and decides this is the time that we're going to roll up the hose.
Because we passed this hose.
Because this hose has been sitting there probably years. I don't know that I have ever wound the hose, and I have lived here for almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that the hose has ever been wound. Okay? It does not bother me. I will happily skip over the hose. I'll walk between the hose. In heels, it doesn't matter. It does not bother me. And this one decided, she's like, well, I'm tired of
looking like
trashy. Like the house was
bad
trashy.
Front yard.
Yeah. So this is the time she selects for us to wind the hose.
Yeah.
Which we did do.
We didn't have heels on.
Pajamas. I was in pajamas.
So yeah, I felt very much better that finally, I thought of it 1,000 times, and finally.
Yeah, so I actually talked to my therapist about it.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
the hose.
Yeah, the hose. Well, I mean, but in general, right? Like, these things...
I wasn't mad that she hadn't woven.
No, of course not.
I almost said woven. I almost said woven the hose. Wound the hose.
Wound.
And I was happy to do it, and I was mad at myself for walking past it all the times and not doing it. I only get frustrated the fact that she doesn't give a shit about how it looks if the hose isn't wound. Not the fact that she didn't wind it, just that it was like 10 years would go by and she'd still be like, who cares? And I'm like, but it looks bad.
And this is something that you value about me in other ways in my life.
Like when we don't clean our garage, then the garage door has to be shut as soon as we open it, grab our stuff, and shut it until it's clean, because otherwise the neighbors walk by and see.
This is also
those lesbians.
I was just gonna say, this is also the person we'll call our cat, because our cat answers to his name and comes from inside.
We've told them.
We did?
Yeah. In fact, a neighbor ended up watching our podcast and says, "I've never said that about you guys." But yeah, so I'm always like,
those lesbians.
That people walk by and they'll hear us call the cat, and those lesbians again.
Yeah,
or the poor garbage truck driver. I doubt he watches, but if you do, I'm so sorry. So sometimes we're great about it, other times not so much. And so we're
getting better.
Multiple times in slippers that one or both of us is running at him with garbage cans. Wait!
So we're
and he goes forward and he backs up the truck, and then picks him up, and then we're like, we run, go get the other one, and he waits, he has to back. So, and I'm always like, he's like, those lesbians again. Here come the lesbians.
And their inability to keep up their chores.
Yeah. Trash out on time.
But okay, so one of the things that we have discovered is very different about us is that Lloydine has to have things a certain way, right? And we've talked about this before. She has tons of rules. I have almost none. And but this is just it is starting to show up now, right, in ways that we find, thank God, humorous most of the time. I'm sometimes startled, like when she decides to throw away the entire grill because the cover is dirty. That startles me.
Have I ever actually?
No, and that is one thing that is good about you, is that so Lloydine really needs the reaction. She really needs me to say, "We've ruined the grill cover. Life is over, and we need to throw it away."
I don't need you to say that, because you would never say that.
What do you need me to say?
Just acknowledge that you've heard that I think the grill cover.
How does that sound? What does an acknowledgement sound?
You do it. I do? Yeah.
What do I say?
You say things like, well, one, you bought a new grill cover, which I didn't expect you to do. I thought we just tried to clean it.
The grill, I have not.
We never put it on.
I've not replaced it because so far we haven't had to throw the grill away, and I figured the one day when she decides it's actually going out, I'll be like, no, look at this fresh new grill cover.
Yeah, so we still have it and it's plastic. But no, you'll just acknowledge, like.
And that is really important.
I think we can get things to clean it to make it look brand new. I don't think it's past that, and we'll get cleaner for the cover, and we'll try to remember to put it on. It's just that it's hot. You say things like that,
and that's enough.
Yeah.
I always feel like I walk away from that conversation and I feel like you're still frustrated. I'm like, I haven't acknowledged enough.
Well, we haven't went and got the cleaner, and I haven't seen it get new yet, but I have hope, rising hope. And then, like, a few minutes later, I forget about it, and then the next time we're grilling, and I'm happy that I use the toaster the next day.
It's true.
I'm not, like, running around throwing tantrums, like, make the sounds, but...
No, you're not a tantrum thrower. No. That's not it. It's just that, like, I don't... It would never cross my mind that the way something appears... For me, I'm a function over appearance girl, right? Like, the grill works. It's great. It's amazing.
My whole career was based on appearance.
Yeah. So I guess that makes sense,
right?
It
makes,
But I think the thing of specifically that we were talking about after the hose incident is that it overwhelms you to think for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to care that the house in the front looks trashy because Heidi will not, right?
Yeah, I don't care if every time the hose got unwound, I had to wind it. It's not that big of a deal. It'd be more if it was all the things, right?
All the things.
Well, like, if you... this isn't true, thankfully, but if you never cared that the house was clean, or the dishes were done, or the laundry, like, if you just didn't care.
Right.
And I'm the only one that cares. Which, when I was single, and I was the only one that cared... That's not a big deal because it's,
You didn't have 4 other people.
I have an apartment and I have guests, but we're roommates, but they're taking care of their stuff, or we're talking about it, like dividing chores, whatever. But yeah, so now with kids that are going to mess it up after you clean it, and if I'm the only adult that cares, and then every time I clean, they mess it up, and then you didn't care, and then they move out someday and you still don't care, then that means I'm now all of a sudden not just cleaning up after myself, but after everyone, because kids aren't going to care. We give them chores and we make them care, but you know what I mean? Like, so so that would be overwhelming, right? Like all of a sudden if I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I think sometimes your need for acknowledgement in those moments comes out as you don't care that the hose is unwound. And no, I don't.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, so I was talking to my therapist about this because I was like, it wasn't like a big fight or something that this is ridiculous, but like, it was more like, we had this moment and my therapist started laughing and she was like, oh my God, the hose. She said it before I said it. I was like, yeah, we were in the front here. She's like, it's the hose, isn't it? And I was like, what? She's like, my husband and I have had a decades-long fight about the hose. Yeah. I love her. I love her so much. She's amazing. Yeah. And she's like, we've had this fight about the hose. And she's like, and at one point I had to just decide, like, you know what? The hose is on you. You get to do the hose. You care about the hose. I don't care about the hose. You wind the hose. And I don't know, there was something very freeing about that for me because I struggle. Like I think
that's when I got scared when I heard that. Because I was perfectly fine with always winding the hose and then it would be on me. I'm like, oh, she could say that? But then I was like, what if our differences are so many things? Because you were being really dramatic to her.
Oh, right.
And so it made it sound like,
I don't care about the dishes. I don't
care about like anything. And I was like, which obviously I know is not true because
I care about the dishes.
Well, we help each other all the time and we do chores all the time and we're cleaning. That's something we're doing all the time together. But I was just like, oh my goodness, like.
Yeah.
Let's not give her the freedom to just be like, oh, if I don't care about it, it's on you. Because I'm like, it's going to be a really hard life. Because I'm not great about it. Some people, like, they care, but they also get, I'm sure you know people, I have people, my sister and people in my family where they...
Like energized.
They energize from cleaning. Yeah. They de-stress from cleaning. Right. They declutter from cleaning. It's just decluttering gives them life. I do not. It is overwhelming to me. It is hard for me. Once it takes 17 times longer than it should for me. like I'm like, I need to clear my month's schedule because obviously this needs done. And so it's very like I either do that or something else. I can't do other things during the day and do that. So it has to be its own, like it's just, yeah, it's like a thing. And so and then when I get it done and then there's, it's all of a sudden messed up 2 seconds later, it is extremely overwhelming.
Well, for those of you that have kids, you know that like there is no, it's clean and then it's clean for days. It's clean for a few minutes and then
Yeah.
it's not again.
And luckily, I mean, our kids are pretty great about chores. I mean, I have to admit, like,
Yeah.
I always feel like a hypocrite because I have them do stuff that
Well, before they go to school in the morning,
they clean their
have
room
a
every
list
day.
of things, and then
I was like grounded all the time because I had like, I mean, I was on Jay Leno for a messy room as an adult.
true.
I mean, yeah. I mean, my sister would be laughing. She watched this episode. She's like, "What do you mean, Dean cares?" But it definitely came, later. But yeah, so they're great, and kids are kids, and they eat a lot, and they're constantly coming in the kitchen, and they use 70 cups for
Well,
some
and you have
reason.
to remember,
they each have to have 17 cups per
they're
hour.
little still, so for them, they still have this memory of like the sink is this magical place. You put dirty things in it, and clean things come out, right?
Yeah.
They didn't really ever understand that magic required a human, or
Well, and they know now.
Now they have that.
Because we do
right?
do dishes together, and they do have a lot of chores that they have to do. Their bathroom and dishes and kitchen and
Yeah.
their laundry and
Yeah, this year we're learning laundry stuff.
yeah,
That's a big deal.
and someone has the table, and so there's a lot of different things that they have to do, but throughout the day it will get where I'm keeping it up.
Yeah, but I think that this sort of specific incident around the hose dovetailed exactly with about a week or 2 week period where like I can do nothing but work. Like I can do nothing but I sit down at 6, I get up, I get the kids out to school, I sit back down, and it's like all I can do to go to the gym once a day. Like,
which I knew, so I even had said like it wasn't you. Like
Right.
I'm getting overwhelmed because I am wanting to do these projects, but then it's getting overwhelming to me, and I've got to get all this done, and like I never thought you would be.
right. I think we're at a place where we can get a little caught up maybe this weekend.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Yeah. What other differences do you know? I mean, that was just one that got highlighted this week, I guess. We are decided, like, I am low maintenance.
she's really laid back,
yeah,
low maintenance.
to the
high
nth,
maintenance,
and she is not.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say high maintenance, but like
Well,
you're.
that's good. It's good that my person says that. Yeah, there was something you said that I was going to clarify, and I forgot.
Oh shoot! Sorry.
I guess the appearance thing is like. I mean, I guess that sounds very shallow, and what's the other word? Maybe it's just shallow. So I guess in that area, it's just different. Because I guess in that way, I do care how things look. But.
You're clarifying something?
Well, no, I'm not clarifying. I mean, basically that I have depth in a lot of areas, but that area, I mean, when you said it, you were like, well, I guess I just don't care about appearances. And I said, well, I guess my career is based on appearance. So I was just kind of thinking back to it, like...
I see what you're saying. No, of course you have depth. It's not really about, it's more that you care that it works well, that we're keeping it up, that we're taking care of our things. For example, the car, okay?
Yeah.
I have driven a minivan. We've talked about the minivan countless times. Mm-hmm. And when you have kids in a car, it's just not clean. It's just not. And we clean it and we keep up on it sometimes, and then sometimes we don't. Mm. And then, it'll get to this at like a head where it will be like, oh, we're never eating in this car again. You can't ride in the car. Essentially, you need to run along beside it because this is terrible. We've never said that.
Yeah.
But, that's how you feel, right? Like you get in the car and you're like, I cannot understand why there are 10 pairs of shoes and several random socks.
So many shoes.
And like,
always.
it's just crazy. Like, what do they do? Why are they going inside with their shoes off? Like, take your shoes with you. Those live with you in the house. That's where you keep them. That's where we keep shoes. They cannot handle it.
They have to take off the shoes as soon as they get in the car.
They get in the car and then
That's how I was with
socks
bras.
and like, okay.
Anytime I'd enter a house, I'd have to take off my bra. Yeah, it was this thing. But sometimes it'd be other people's houses. So then I would shove them under cushions because you can't just sit there. And then I'd forget and I would leave. And then my friend would call me and she'd be like, oh my gosh, you are lucky that, I know this is yours, and I'm not accusing my husband of cheating, for one.
Oh,
And two, that my husband, she goes, and then my husband is, or they would, husband would be like, you're broad. She'd be like, Dean. Yeah. So that was like a problem. So that's why they're with their shoes. They get in the car and they're like, oh, I'm in the car, I have to take off my shoes. I was like, I'm in the house, I have to take off my bra.
That's hilarious. Anyway, so it's just we just have a different focus on things. Well, and I actually, it's been interesting for me though, because I always sort of go inside and I'm like, oh, I should care. I should I should look at the George Foreman and be like, you know what? It's important that we keep it not only looking nice and taking good care of it, right? Because of course the oil stains and the burns and the crumbs, they're harming it. It's not like that's harmless, right? It isn't that it's just not looking good.
Right.
It's that it's also causing harm to our appliance.
Well, and it's very much a thing of, if we buy something new, I get excited about new stuff. And so then I want to keep it looking that way. And that's something that I think I finally internalized when I got past my, I'm 18 and messy stage, right?
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh, I like it to... Sometimes it'll get overwhelming and my room would get a mess and it's just harder. I'm the worst when I go on a trip because I hate unpacking. And so then I just kind of keep taking something out of the suitcase. And then it's time to go on another trip and I haven't unpacked. It's getting better. But I mean, one time I remember Christmas presents staying in a suitcase, and the next year at Christmas I opened it up to pack and I was like, Christmas all over again. So I'm getting much better. But when I get something new, I just like to, it's easier to maintain it, and I just like to keep it that way. And so if I feel like it goes off that, then I know. We got curtains, and this was just a mistake that we made, but it's amazing. We have a red kitchen. It's amazing. Well, you can see behind us. Amazing red curtains, and we didn't think about that when we're spraying, our George Foreman, our toast.
With olive oil.
Yeah, olive oil. It sprayed, it hit the toast and hit the curtain, and now there's oil stains on our curtain. And it's not the kind of... It's like a blind, not a curtain. So it's not the kind you can wash. And so I'm like, every time I see it, it drives me insane. We haven't gotten rid of it, but go crazy over the fact that there's these oil big stains. I don't think you're actually supposed to use oil on a George Foreman, and we'll get a lot of replies about that.
You're not?
No. But we do.
We do.
I mean, we don't spray the George Foreman, but it does get oil in it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's just about an appearance, right? It is about, and this is something that I think as a mom I have struggled with a little bit, right? With teaching your kids to value and take care of their things, but at the same time not putting such a high value on their things that if they do break them, or as things wear out, or as, because kids break things and they're hard on things and they're rough, right? And I have never been the kind of mom that wanted my kids to be worried, right, about sort of natural things happening or an accident, and I mean, the pendulum has probably swung a bit, farther than it should have in that area, right? But I really just was like, things break and we'll get a new one, or we'll get something different, or we just won't have that now, right? But I never really put a lot of emphasis on let's take care of our things so that we have them going forward, right? And now, of course, I'm trying to dial that back because they are old enough to take care of their things and have them going forward. And now their things are expensive, things like an iPad, or things like,
they like to shop and get clothes and boots and jewelry. And
it's important that they start to treat those things with more care. And while I don't regret raising them in a home where they didn't have to worry if they broke a toy, or they didn't have to worry about those kinds of things, because those were not going to be things I was going to focus on, I think I probably could have found a little bit of a middle ground, right? Oh, this is something we're really going to take care of. It's special. Because they treat things like, well, I'll just get a new one.
Yeah.
Which, that's not great either. So,
I mean, we're still that way when, a glass breaks, or, anything, our butter dish just shattered all over the floor the other day. And I was like, okay, well, sweeping up a butter dish. And we ordered a new butter dish. Right. And now it's red. Yeah. Yeah, so I thought about that, the shoes in the van thing.
Okay.
Well, everywhere you go, you kick off shoes.
Me?
Yeah. I could probably find 7 pairs of shoes just...
one.
There's one right there next to you in the kitchen. There'll be one right behind that wall. There'll be one...
Three over there.
There's 3 over there. See, we're already at 5.
Wait, where'd you get 5? 1, 2, 3?
Oh, you're counting individual shoes, not pairs. Got it.
What?
What?
It doesn't matter. There's shoes everywhere.
Because there's some behind this wall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those are owns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Your shoes don't stay on your feet very well.
Who likes shoes? My shoes stay on my feet in the car.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wear them in from outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think I do teach my kids that, like, if
And
you're
I'm the
relaxing,
type that'll like line up every shoe and they can't touch. Like they have to never touch. And she's the type to like kick them on top of each other and around, and And so I'm always like, you're gonna scrape them like the heel. And then
so there's some shoes now that we share.
Yeah.
I get talked to about those shoes quite a bit. When you take those off, can you just put them here? There's a spot.
I was like,
oh.
I'll put them away for you. Don't kick the shoes. Yeah. I thought one time, it's like a bitch to move in New York, and and like when it's such a pain in the ass. It's like a whole new kind of hell. But so I had people helping me move, and this one guy, this friend I had named Dan, I'll never forget. So he was carrying out like this big those hanging things, slots with shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, and it had shoes in them.
Oh.
So he's carrying it, and he drops it, and the shoes fly out onto the middle of the road and the concrete and scrape my runway heels, and yeah. So and then there's more. He had a lot of shoes, and so he went back in. We were really good friends, and we always kind of mess with each other. But he did hear me say this other guy. I was like, "Can you get the shoe thing? Dan's not good with the shoes." And for years, every time he'd see me, he'd be like,
Dan's not good with the shoes.
I'm not good with the shoes. I know. I'm not good with the shoes. And I was like, well, facts.
But I think the truth and the kindness in that story is that, you didn't freak out. You don't get mad. It isn't that you have such an attachment to, the way that things should appear or should be taken care of, that you aren't gentle about it. And I think that was the piece this week where I was internalizing your frustration with the hose as if I should care more, right? And really all you were sort of feeling was this panic that oh dear God, I have to take care of a house full of 5 messy people when Heidi used to do some of that with me when she wasn't working so much. I think that was sort of the panic you were feeling.
Yeah, and your therapist, you joked about the bed too. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not one of those, and I bet there are so many marriages where I will happily climb into an unmade bed and fall right to sleep. It doesn't bother me for a second. This one's ew.
I mean, I will.
But you make it almost every day.
Yeah, I do like to make the bed, which I used to not, so I'm very proud of my growth, because I would never. I was like, why? I'm just going to get back in. But now, yeah, I do like, a made bed. In fact, because we're rearranging and unpacking and doing the room, that's when I slack on making the bed. Is if the room is clean and everything and organized and looks amazing, then I'll make the bed.
Yeah.
Because I do like that feeling, when I walk in the kitchen and it's clean. It's just I live in a magazine. Or
yeah.
The bed.
I like that feeling
bedroom.
too.
Yeah.
And I am most of the time I think we do a fairly good job.
Yeah, I think so.
But again, we've both been really busy and
yeah, and it's just, and of course it's adjustments. We do have kids, right? I mean, I came from a place where I would have rentals and things, and so it had to look like a magazine every day. If someone walked up and knocked on the door, it would always look that way, which was new for me. And I think, I got excited about that feeling, but it's not going to be the same with kids, but I think we do a pretty good job.
Yeah, so it's just finding a balance, I think.
Yeah. And we have robots that it broke, and so I have not reset up the robot, because that's beyond Heidi. And
I cannot. There's no chance. If
she won't run the robots when I'm gone.
I sweep him up. I physically sweep him up when she's gone, even though I have an app on my phone that she has put on my phone.
I have them running automatically too, so they still come out, and she's always frustrated at them and yelling at them, and I don't know. But the robots have not been running, and so we do much better when.
Yeah, because they clean the floors, and so you can't leave things. My 7 pairs of shoes that I've kicked off in various locations have to be picked up.
So Alfred and Mildred do a pretty good job. Except Owen wants us to rename Alfred.
What does he want us to call it again? Some famous person, right?
I'm just going to say it, and that went out of my head. Not Elon Musk. But...
Oh, man, he's going to be so mad.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Anyway. Differences.
Yeah. Are there any others?
I'm sure.
There's a million.
Well, I think we are fairly different people.
Yeah.
But we fit together pretty nicely.
True. Thank God.
Thank God.
You're introverted and I'm extroverted.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. I do not like being around people.
It's not exactly like that.
Well, okay, so the
You want to hang
difference.
out with people all the time. You're always like, let's
Yeah,
invite them
yeah,
over.
that's
Let's
true.
go on
How do
dates.
we
Let's do
explain
this.
it?
Like you.
So, okay, for
You
example,
accused me of being a homebody when this podcast started, which...
she's a homebody.
Oh, we're still on that? We're still on that?
But you are.
Then what are you?
I'm an out of the house introvert. I'm a small group fan.
I like small groups.
I know
I
you
like
do.
big groups. I like big concerts.
I know.
Like,
I think the difference in who we are is like the first day we went to our new church and you're like, I'm speaking. And it took me until this last weekend, and then I was literally vibrating from head to
and
foot
I was like,
and in tears.
I'm like, you should speak. I think you have something to say. Yeah. That's to explain the homebody versus not home.
No, introvert versus
Oh,
extrovert.
okay.
I don't know how to explain the homebody. It's just that, like, you are a creature comfort person. It's not that she's a homebody, it's that she doesn't like to get ready. So
that's true.
So the truth is, like, when we're doing the podcasts, we do the podcasts on days when we are already getting ready to go out.
Yeah.
We just do. So we'll plan it. She'll be like, okay, well, I have something. I have to go out of the house, and I'm doing my makeup, so we're recording a podcast that day.
Yeah.
And
If I was a dude, I would be zero homebody.
That's right.
I would
She
be
would
out
go
at the
out
bar
all the
every
time.
day, all the time. If I could just roll out of bed and mess up the hair,
yeah.
not, just walk out, throw on a shirt and jeans and...
So it's not really that she prefers to be at home. It's just that she will do almost anything to avoid getting ready to go out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Why does that make you smile?
Because I think it's hilarious. Maybe it comes from having had a team that does your hair and makeup for so many years.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, ugh, I don't want to do my own hair and makeup.
Yeah, and also from having to get ready to go to business meetings, which was really...
At the club.
In the club.
Yeah.
With a cocktail dress and 6-inch or 7-inch stilettos.
Yeah, that's not fun.
And, that was... And then, having OJ and cranberry and vodka all night with loud music where no one's talking. I don't know what business we're doing, but I mean,
Not that kind of business.
Not that kind of
Watch your minds.
but yeah, so I think it was just, there was a lot of random, like, come to the club on Thursday, Wednesday, come to the bar on Monday, well, Sunday, well, Friday, well, Saturday, it was just like...
Well, and I was a bartender for years, but I'll just be honest, right? I wore a bustier because I had to, and so I didn't care.
The other one was so hot, though. What'd you wear? You've said it before.
I said it. That's what I'm talking about.
The other bar.
What?
The other bar.
What other bar?
You worked at more than one bar.
What are you talking about? I know I did. I worked at several
What'd you wear
bars.
at the other bar?
Like retro T-shirts?
Yeah, and? Was it jean shorts, I think?
I didn't wear jean shorts.
Jeans?
Yeah, jeans. Jeans and retro T-shirts.
And like a rocker shirt, right?
Yeah, like retro, like 80s bands and stuff.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get you to say.
Oh,
It's so hot.
really?
Yes.
That's what you think is hot?
Yes. I want to go in to see that more than the bustier.
Yeah, you're
I
such
mean, you
a...
have great boobs, but I really just want to see you in, like, when you put on your rocker t-shirt and your ripped jeans and your leather jackets, and I think you're the hottest.
Yeah, but anyway...
For a minute, she would wear that when she came in to see me in New York, and she was trying to lock me
For a
down.
minute. I still wear those.
Yeah, mostly not. Mostly not you. Like dresses and
I'm
maxi
working.
dresses and... No, I know what I'm saying. Or,
Yeah, that's true.
or white jeans. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're just trying to lock me down.
Yeah. Bait and switch, yeah?
Got black nails and the whole rocker look. And when Heidi puts her mind on something,
What? What then?
you make sure you get what you want. You seem all like innocent and cutesy, but when you are like...
Cutesy? Did you just call me cutesy?
Well, when you're like, oh, this is what I've decided, then there is a whole different like vibe that comes out of you.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know it. You even admitted it, so you're all playing coy right now.
I don't know that I've admitted that.
Yes, you have. It's kind of like when we talk about that poor girl in the diner.
Oh, well, yeah, but that was necessary. Otherwise, we would have just been leading her on.
or like we weren't together, or yeah, you just or you're
weren't,
holding interlacing fingers, or you're like you just I mean, if you decide something, it's why I went on a date when I was like we weren't a thing, and so I went back to New York and I was dating, and then I found myself talking about you on my dates and ruining all my dates.
That had nothing to do with my mind or what I had done.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you see how she just did that? She's on a date. She's talking about me, and it's somehow that I've put my mind.
You were working your magic.
Oh, I have like voodoo dolls over here. Yeah, I have a voodoo doll.
No, don't say that.
I clearly don't have a voodoo doll. There's something wrong with us today. We can't even have a normal conversation. I think we're exhausted. I'm
so
slap
tired.
happy. Anyway, thanks for joining us and talking about differences.
Yeah, and wine that hose, y'all. Wine
Or
that hose.